Welcome to another episode. Republicans are taking our country to a dangerous situation as they have put America at risk by supporting a president who has been absolutely treacherous and doing all his best in undermining America's interest, whether foreign or domestic, demanding to reveal a whistleblower's identity is a marginal point of what Trump has done and doing, as he pressured a foreign country, namely Ukraine, and outside the legal channels to not just investigate the Bidens, but probably to invent dirt on the Democratic candidate. I don't want to jump into conclusions here, but as I see it, Trump has frozen America on all fronts. From inside, we see him create he creates fights and disputes every day, and he intentionally offers himself as a savior, and it is not surprising to me that the majority of the adherents of the Trump cult, are those who claim Jesus and believe in the coming Armageddon. Of course, not all of them, but all Trump adherents are of this type. This is how Republicans are trying to twist America from a secular free state into a tyrannical rule that sees in any free media an enemy of the state and an enemy of the people, under such excuses. And on the foreign policy front, America has become much weaker than before. And to show you that I try my best to be unbiased in my judgments, I don't see the contrast between Obama and Trump as good versus evil, but I would say that as Obama was very weak and even impotent on foreign affairs and policies after 2014 and onward, as he released some of the most dangerous terrorists of the Taliban after negotiating with them, and after his failure to protect Americans' interests in Iraq and Syria. However, Trump is conducting the same foreign policy right now, and we saw how he released the hands of the Turks and the Iranians and the Russians in the region. It is true that the sailing crews were not perfect or even good enough by modern standards to be like good allies, but giving them up with such a manner that was shocking and abrupt has sent a negative message to America's friends. And America's friends are not the Saudis, the oil producers, even an ethnic group in itself, as both Republicans and Democrats think when they deal with the Middle East. America's friends are those countries who share the same values of liberty, equality, and human rights, and of course those individuals and persons who act on spreading such ideas in a region that has a long history of tyranny and religious intolerance are among those who we should always support and stand by. When Trump announced that the U.S. Army will get paid for its services in Saudi Arabia, he was claiming America to be nothing but a paid prostitute, an army of mercenaries, and an army which works not for the American people or the American national interests, but or for the protection of our system, but an army that can serve even the most absolutist rulers and the most vicious tyrants. This outcome is not surprising to me because every fascist regime, regardless of what culture it is born in, has some sort of irrational religious fervor in it, thus creating an illegal practice of power like the Republicans are doing right now and the religious tyrants in the Middle East do, and even Saddam, whom we think like most Americans think, and one of the famous people who believed in this is Bill Maher, who believes that Saddam was a secular dictator, which is not true. He was secular when he wanted to be, and he was an Islamist when he needed to be. So he was not secular at all. So Democrats are in need of rethinking their attitudes toward the foreign affairs, and as Republicans and Trump are accusing them of being the doing nothing party, and that was true on foreign policy of the Democratic presidents since Jimmy Carter, for sure. But the Democrats should realize that the dilemma which both parties are going through is real. It's not just about the Democrats, because Republicans are weak on foreign policy too. Republicans are claiming day and night that America should not be the police of the world, and thus using such a doctrine to be the do-nothing party, just as the Democrats are. For America to become a different, new, strong country, Democrats should get their salvation from the long guilt complexity that has befallen on them since LBJ and his illegal involvement in Vietnam. Now, they should go back strongly on foreign policy, support liberal values and human rights, and without offering negative actions such as Obama and Trump negotiating with the terrorist Taliban. America is going to lose Iraq soon, as people are uprising in that country against a government that came to power through the backing of the Iranian mullahs and the cheating through the last elections they did. As Trump is silent about it, probably preparing for the abandoning of the Iraqi peaceful protesters, and thus Russia, with the blessings of Iranian regime, will control one of the most strategic oil producers, a producer that is more important than Saudi Arabia or the other Arab states in the Persian Gulf. Trump is a threat to America. Trump is a threat to America, but the democratic weakness is a threat far more dangerous because it enables both Trump and the Russians to do whatever they want. See you next time.